This is Module 1, dividing whole numbers by one-digit divisors. Sometimes they'll have remainders, sometimes they will not. So first we're going to start talking about whenever you have your paper, you should write DMSBC on your paper. Most of you do not need this step, but you do need the other steps, which is divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. A way to remember that is, does McDonald's sell burgers? Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Does McDonald's sell burgers? So the first thing we do is we're going to rewrite this. The first number goes into the house, and then we divide by 2. So when we're going to look at this, first thing we're going to do is we're going to ask ourselves how many times does 2 go into just the first number, which is 8 here. So 2 can go into 8 4 times. That's the divide part. And I put my answer right above that 8. I line it up. Next step, it says to multiply. So now I'm going to multiply the number I just wrote, which was 4. I'm going to multiply it by the 2 on the outside. And 4 times 2 is 8, and that goes right under the 8. Next, it tells me to subtract. So I'm going to subtract. And then bring down means to bring down just one number at a time. There's the 6. Once I bring down a number, I have to go all the way back to the beginning, and I start dividing again. This time when I divide, I'm going to ask myself, how many times does 2 go into my new number down at the bottom here? 6. It can go in 3 times. So I just divided. Now I'm going to multiply. Once again, here's the multiplication. 3 times 2 is 6. And now I have to subtract, and I end up with 0. And I see that there's nothing else up here to bring down, so that tells me I'm done. So my answer would be 43. What 86 divided by 2 means is I'm splitting 86 into 2 equal pieces. So when I split them into 2 equal pieces, I end up with 43 and 43. And a way to check this is I take my answer of 43 and I multiply it by the 2 on the outside, and I end up with 86, which is the number on the inside. Next problem, we'll try 44 divided by 2. First thing we have to do, we write, does McDonald's sell burgers? So we're going to rewrite our problem. First number in the house divided by 2. So I start by doing division. How many times does 2 go into the 4? It goes in 2 times. So I write the 2 right up there. Then I go to multiplication. 2 times 2 is 4. Then I go to subtraction. I'm now going to subtract my 4 minus 4 is 0. And then I bring down. Once I bring down, I have to circle all the way back up to the top. And I start by doing division again. This time I'm asking how many times does the 2 go into the new number that I made here. 2 goes into 4 2 times. Then when we multiply, we're doing this 2 right here times 2 out here, which is 4. Then I have to subtract. I end up with 0. There's nothing to bring down, so my answer is 22. Here we go again. We're going to do 27 divided by 2. This time will be a little different because we're just going to start working with remainders to check those out. So we have 27, which is in my house, divided by 2. First thing I have to do is I need to divide. So I ask myself, how many times does 2 go into 2? It can go in 1 time. Then I need to multiply. 1 times 2 is 2. Then I have to subtract. And then I bring down. After I bring down, I know I have to circle back to the top and start it all over again. So now I'm going to ask myself, how many times can 2 go into this new number of 7 down here? 2 can go into 7 3 times. Because if I did 4 times, it would be too many. So now I have to multiply. 3 times 2, which is 6. Then I have to subtract. And there's nothing here to bring down. So my answer becomes 13 remainder 1. Or 13 and 1 out of the 2 left over. Those are the 2 ways to write that answer. Try another one. We have 47 divided by 5. First thing we have to do is divide. 5 4. It cannot go in at all, so I need a 0 up there. 0 times 5 is 0. Now I have to subtract. 4 minus 0 is 4, and bring down the 7. Once I bring down, I have to circle back to the top. We circle back to the top. How many times can 5 now go into 47 when we divide? 5 goes into 47 9 times. Now we multiply. 9 times 5 is 45. Then we subtract, and there's nothing to bring down. So my answer is 9 remainder 2, or it also could be 9 and 2 out of 5. Next problem, we have 32 divided by 3. I'm going to try to do this one without the check marks on the side, but I can look at my list of DMSB. So first we divide. How many times does 3 go into 3? It goes in there 1 time. 1 times 3 is 3. I subtract, and now I bring down. Since I did a bring down, I have to go all the way back to the beginning. And when I go all the way back to the beginning, how many times does 3 go into 2? It cannot, so I have to put a 0 there. 0 times 3 is 0. Then I subtract. I have 2. There's nothing to bring down up here. So my answer then becomes 10 remainder 2, or 10 and 2/3. Down here, if I was using a tape diagram to explain this, if this is 32 and I'm splitting it into 3 pieces, I have 10 and 2/3, and 10 and 2/3, and 10 and 2/3. Each piece is equal to 10 and 2/3. Next, now I have my paper, and my steps are all the way over here. So I'm going to just move them up a little so you can see them. We divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Remember, does McDonald's sell burgers? So we're going to do 31 divided by 3. How many times can 3 go into 3? It goes in 1 time. 1 times 3 is 3. We subtract. We have a 0. We bring down the 1. How many times can 3 go into 1? It goes in 0 times. So we're left with a remainder. So then we write our answer as 10 remainder 3, or 10 and 1/3. Over here we have 96 divided by 2. How many times does 2 go into 9? 2 can go into 9 4 times without going over. 4 times 2 is 8. Then we subtract. We bring down, and because we bring down, we go right back to the beginning. How many times does 2 go into 16 this time? It goes in 8 times. 8 times 2 is 16. We subtract. Nothing to bring down. There's no remainder, so my answer is 48. 61 divided by 9. How many times does 9 go into 6? It goes in 0 times. We put that 0 as our placeholder. 0 times 9 is 0. We subtract. We bring down. How many times does 9 go into 61? We have 6, which gives us 9 times 6 is 54, and we have a remainder of 7. So our answer is 6 remainder 7, or 6 and 7/9. Now I'm going to show an example with 3-digit numbers. So if I have 804 divided by 7, how many times can 7 go into 8? It goes in 1 time. 1 times 7 is 7. We subtract. We bring down the next number. How many times does 7 go into 10? 1 time. 1 times 7 is 7. We subtract. And we have to bring down again. There's more numbers still this time. How many times does 7 go into 34? 4 times. And then we subtract. When we do this, we come up with an answer of 114 remainder 6, or 114 and 6 out of 7. The last one we're going to do for today is 695 divided by 7. First, we ask ourselves how many times does 7 go into 6? It does not. 0 times 7 is 0. We subtract, bring down one number at a time here. How many times can 7 go into 69? 7 goes into 69 9 times. We multiply it, we get 63. 9 minus 3 is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. There is another number that we need to bring down. How many times can 7 go into 65? 9 times. I'm looking at that. 9 times 7 is 63. And we end up with 2. There's nothing to bring down, so our answer is 99, remainder 2, or 99 and 2/7. And that is how we divide.